But whoever talks about the man on the ground, the guy that's taking the bullets, and then I realize there's an actual gap in South Africa.
Okay, I need to stop you there. I need to stop. Aloysius Petersen. Did I get that name right and pronunciation? I was practicing it.
Well done, Lawrence. You know, let's be honest, I'm a boykie from the Cape Flats, so I am so used to different definitions of what my name is and how it's pronounced. I was blessed enough to attend Christian Brothers College in Greenpoint, St. John's, and there I was taught the proper pronunciation, which is Aloysius, and not Aloysius or Aloysius.
Okay, cool. So I got it right.
You done well.
So I got it right.
Well. Yeah, you did.
All right. Thank you for joining me on Contact Center SA. So Aloysius, I'm gonna call you Ali. I think it's just
yeah, that's fine. Ali is the nickname.
Yeah. So maybe tell us a bit about yourself. Phoenix events. I know LinkedIn has been full of the symposium, and we'll get into that, but I think it will be prudent to get to know you a little bit better. You said you're a boykie from Cape Flats, so let's just get to know who Ali Petersen is just a little bit better, and Phoenix events, of course.
Of course. Yeah, so as we went on this whole roundtable about the name, Aloysius, and everybody just getting to the reality, just call me Ali. I'm a normal boykie from the Cape Flats, Mitchell's Plain, mind you.
Okay.
I would love to say I grew up in Mitchell's Plain, but then people who know me quite well would say, hey, buddy, don't lie. Your education wasn't in Mitchell's Plain. But I'm from the Cape Flats. I understand everything that happens in the Cape Flats. My family reside there. I still have property there, very close to my heart. I have an MPO there, which is called the A Foundation, which looks after the homeless. It has feeding schemes.
Nice.
It looks after things like male abuse, which for me is a huge thing. We don't speak about these things. Obviously, women abuse, which I have friends that focus on that in a big way, and in child abuse. All of these community things is something that's close to my heart, but not something I showcase. Not yet. Once I become what I call a proper businessman, then I will plow lots of money into that. I fell in love with events and the business side of it. And over the course of my life, I obviously became mates with people that play huge roles in the customer experience world. And I was able to study during COVID-19. I done my accreditation. I'm a ACXM. Yes, I'm ACXM. There's not many, but there's many that's now finally coming to the understanding to study it in South Africa, especially in the contact center world.
So maybe just expand on that certification or qualification there, Ali, just for the audience to understand what that actually means in terms of the deliverables around it.
Yeah, so an accreditation within the customer experience master world. Basically, what that means is it gives you as the individual the opportunity to look at a business and understand their journey or the journey mapping strategy from an end-to-end perspective. It also gives you the opportunity to rebuild their current journey mapping strategy and then look at various different things. I can give you, it's going to be lots of different analogies, and people are going to be like, I never heard these things, so I won't go into those analogies.
So maybe that's a different episode. That's a different discussion we could have.
For the contact centers, I would love to actually get them to start looking at those type of things, especially from a top level management to a medium level management, because I've got lots of family members in the contact center world. But what I tend to see is people tend to forget and understand that every day we have to learn. Every single day is a new day and a new opportunity to change and learn within the business place, whether you're a manager or whether you're even an agent. So for me, when I done my master's, it was something that reafforded me the opportunity to understand business. just business, not only business from a high level perspective, but from, your barber shop on the corner, to understand exactly what it is that they should look at doing to ensure that their profitability increases. And then at the same time, the one thing that gave me back again was how important, and now I'm going to say the word customer service and customer experience, but how important customer service and customer experience is for the household.
Yeah.
Because nobody understands that everything starts at home, and it actually then ends up in your career, because the better you are at home, the better your career is going to be. It aligns fantastically well.
So I think we can unpack that, because I think that again becomes a deeper discussion around the ecosystem of customer service and customer experience. So I think leading into my next question, really around the symposium. So LinkedIn right now, you've done a great job at advertising the symposium and putting it out there onto the online and like I said, via LinkedIn. But let's talk about the symposium a little bit in terms of the format. What format is it going to take? I know there's an awards that's also going to be part of the process, and I think maybe for the audience to get a little bit of a deeper understanding of what the symposium is about, like I said, the format it's going to take, and then maybe give us a little bit of a high-level overview of the awards, just so that there's a deeper understanding of that.
Yeah, 100%. So let's quickly go on this word symposium. Another person actually asked me, why are you calling it a symposium? You could have called it a conference, you could have called it a summit. Why call it a symposium?
Yeah.
And it's a very simple answer. In my opinion, a symposium is a place where people come and they actually genuinely meet each other and speak about their different careers and how they can help each other in the biggest way possible. At a conference, people tend to people tend to move in circles because they know X, Y, and Z, so they're going to be in that corner all the time. At a summit, it's a small gathering of people that's basically just focusing on one thing. Whereas the symposium don't focus on one thing. The symposium has been designed to revolutionize South Africa from a customer service, bridging customer experience perspective. What I mean by that is your customer service is a world whereby you have face-to-face contact with your prospective buyer, consumer, customer.
Yeah.
It is a world where you have to communicate in such a way whereby that individual feels pleased, that individual feels that whatever needs they expected was fulfilled, whether it be from a contact center perspective or whether it be within a retail perspective. They feel happy when they leave. That is what customer service is supposed to produce as an end product.
It's an emotional. I think we forget that we're dealing with people, and so people are driven emotively with emotion, and so it is, and that's something I train and I coach a lot about how do you make the person feel, when they enter into your organization and when they leave your organization, whether it be, like you say, retail or contact centers. I often use Maya Angelou's quote: people will forget what you've said, they will forget what you've done, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Right? So
exactly.
I'm paraphrasing that quote. I might have gotten slightly wrong, but that's the gist of it. And I think it's important that you're 100% correct in my view, that it's about how you make somebody feel at the end of the day. And that's what customer experience and customer service is all about. Sorry, I broke your word.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And then obviously, because we have lots of intellectuals and lots of students of this specific topic, they break it down, and they have to break it down. Let's understand, customer service is not just meant for the buying and selling of a product.
Yeah.
That you've got your debtors departments, you've got your HR departments. I mean, I can speak of something that somebody sending through the CV. You have to can communicate with that person in due course, what has happened, what has not happened. And I know people that's hating operating with HRs because they don't contact them back and say, you know what, sorry, the position's full. It's just small things like that, because Customer service is communicative. It is us communicating with somebody about something that they need to know, which at the end of the day makes them feel happy. Even if you get bad news, but it's done in the best possible way, you're still going to feel good. You're still going to feel motivated to go to the next one. So that's customer service. Customer experience is where you have your design thinkers, obviously. And your design thinkers are guys like myself, you, and everybody that's got all this experience. And we know what a journey should be. Even before the customer rocks up our organization, we kind of know what we want them to see. So for me, when I look at customer experience, it's all about designing that journey for the prospective customer to ensure that they obviously, or that the organization ensures that every touch point is fulfilled in a manner fulfilling to what the strategy is at that time, because you have different journey maps every quarter or every 2 quarters at an organization. And then I sat back and I'm like, but we have lots of customer experience events in South Africa. And we're always talking about the different journeys that's needed. We're talking about user experience. We're talking about employee engagement. But whoever talks about the man on the ground, the guy that's taking the bullets, if we were army, the customer service guys would be running first. They're the infantry. They're taking the bullets. Nobody speaks about them. And I was like, but you cannot just speak about them, because you also need to be speaking about the ones that is pushing them into that space. And then I realized there's an actual gap in South Africa. And it's global as well. The gap is we need to ensure that customer service agents, managers are aligned with customer experience managers, directors, and executives. We need to get to a point where they are speaking essentially one language. In another podcast I've done, I was speaking about a mother and father relationship. And the speaker was like, mother and father, I wouldn't fully agree. And I went back and I thought about it. I'm like, how can customer service and customer experience not be a mother and father relationship? Has anybody forgotten what it's like in the home?
Okay, I need to stop you there. So let me try and get this right. The premise of what you're saying is that the two are not linked. And I know the symposium is about bridging the gap, right? And so let's just unpack that just a little bit, because it would be assumed or implied that the two should coexist harmoniously.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for them not to coexist harmoniously.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little bit confused about why you're saying in your research they are, from what I'm hearing, they are separated. Because they live in a divorced family, broken family type situation. Given your analogy of the family here.
Yeah.
So just help myself and the audience sort of close that gap in terms of why you're saying this, and your research that you've done that derived this information.
Oh, thanks for that question. It's the best question. I can give it to you on a national level. I can give it to you on a corporate level. And you as a South African,
in whatever way makes sense to you, from an articulation perspective, and explain.
Let's look at it like this. When last have you been to Home Affairs?
Last year, actually.
Would you like to go to Home Affairs again?
Oh no, absolutely not. I mean, nobody likes to go to Home Affairs.
Exactly. So when you go to Home Affairs, and every living, breathing South African right now will agree on this. First and foremost, who stands in a queue from 3:30 in the morning just to get inside by 8 o'clock? And then most time when 8 o'clock comes, they don't get inside. And that's the customer service side of things. Then they have these guys with these, oh my gosh, I went to go stand and look. They give you a little number, a written number. Then you are in number 99. And you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and you're sitting with this cold thing over you, your blankets, and you're wearing these warm things out in a line, and you're waiting just to get inside. Oh, big problem. There's a solution. We all know that. Big problem. Next problem. You get inside. They've got all of these different numbers of where you can go, and they actually ask you this and that. They've got this page for you to fill out. page for you to fill out, problem. And then the security, not a Home Affairs
official
staff member, yes, official, tells you where to go. A security, a service provider of Home Affairs.
Yeah.
Next thing is you go and sit. So you watch the staff members of Home Affairs. These are the guys who's the immediate communicative voice of Home Affairs.
Yeah.
They work as if you do not exist.
Okay.
No smiles, no happiness, no anything. So you sit because you need your documentation. Then when you finally get to this place, I'm telling you, everything inside of yourself as a human being has basically been, yes, like you've just been killed from the mind to the small toe. You've just been killed. So you get to the front and you finally needs to be assisted. You've got all your documentation. And this person tells you, it is my lunch right now. That's number one.
Or the system just went offline.
Or the system just went offline. Yes, that's a new one. The system just went offline. When that happens, if you're within the know, and I know you in the know as me, as myself, I mean, the reality is that from a customer experience perspective, the touch points hasn't been fulfilled. So whatever journey mapping strategy Home Affairs have or their branch has is essentially null and void. The customer service individual.
Well, sorry, it's not necessarily null and void. It's just broken, right?
Yes. But why I'm saying null and void is when something is broken, you can still fix it.
Yeah,
when it's null and void, it's not existent, because when it is existent, the customer service individual will be able to say, okay, you know what, it is my lunch, or the system is offline now, but this is what I can do for you because you're sitting in front of me right now. Not tell you go back to your seat, just wait, somebody else is going to come help you now. That is the difference in mentality I'm speaking about.
I think for me, the example of Home Affairs is how do I put this in a way that makes sense? So when I look at that process and that experience, it's still an experience, right? Regardless of whether it's good or bad, it's still an experience, right? Whether or not somebody went and took the time to journey map the experience is probably questionable. Probably nobody. They just put a couple of processes in place and hopefully it works. But the reality is it's still an experience. For me, that analogy is brilliant from a siloed communicative environment. First of all, so the communication is quite siloed because very often the one individual, like you say, the service provider says something different to what the official says, right? There's often that disconnect. But more importantly for me, it's the fact that customer service as a service is non-existent. That I'm going to say to be, in my opinion, to be an experience, to be true. That's the first point. How I deal with a system being off or a lunch break is also an indicator for me of what processes are in place as part of the journey, right? And that's lacking in an environment like that. So
let's go to corporate quickly. That's government. I think every South African is going to understand that, and that's a pain point for all of us. So let's do corporate. You take your vehicle, and it's a Land Rover. I'm talking about a big brand. Everybody did it, or not everybody, lots of people.
$1 million plus bucks car.
Exactly.
Vehicle.
They own now by Jaguar. So the vehicle breaks down, it does disco lights all the time, and it goes into Land Rover. I'm not going to mention the branch because they're not going to like me for this.
Sure. Yeah, well, let's not get into that discussion.
You come in, beautiful place, beautiful vehicle, smells fantastic. You feel like you're $1 million just for walking through the door. The receptionist that sits on your left does not greet you. Check this out. You walk through the doors. It's beautiful inside. You see all the latest Land Rovers and Jaguars. The receptionist that sits on your left as you walk through the sliding doors does not greet you with a smile at all. You have to go to her and ask her, okay, fine, my car, she broke down, I called, spoke to somebody, what do I do next? Then she's like, you know what, just go sit there. The exact words I'm using now.
Wow.
You know what, just go sit there. You stressed out about your vehicle.
Sure.
So you go sit and you play with your fingers for literally 15 minutes until somebody realizes you're sitting at a desk. Gentleman rocks up, he greets you, he's actually nice and kind. He tells you, okay, fine, we're going to take the vehicle, we're going to look at it, and they do what they need to do. Cut a long story short, because this is a very long story.
Yeah, okay, we don't have that time.
The car you receive back a year and 6 months later.
Wow.
Yes, Lance.
Wow.
And in that time, they gave you a courtesy vehicle that is a Ford Focus.
Okay.
You driving a Land Rover, they give you a Ford Focus. And it takes a year and 6 months for the car to come back. And in that time, they could never give you the correct information on what needed to be fixed, or the parts is in Germany or in the UK. And on top of that, you as the customer has spent a large amount of money.
Okay, yeah, I can get that frustration. I mean, I would freaking be irritated to no end with something like that.
So if you
I think the papers would have heard it from me already.
Yeah, I haven't gone that far yet. I've just gone directly to Jaguar in Johannesburg. So when I look at this event, yes, we're talking about two situations that is not the best, but there's a solution to these situations. And my heart and the purpose of the Customer Service Symposium is to start getting situations like this fixed quicker rather than later. Because if it can happen by a very popular brand, such as Land Rover Jaguar, and it can happen in national government, then in my mind, it happens more than not more. It just happens all the time on the daily. So the whole purpose of the event and the way it's been put together is where we speak about things like defining customer service in Africa, pre and post COVID-19. And the reason for that being is there was a way we done things in South Africa and Africa pre-COVID, but things also changed after COVID-19. Then we speak about things like culture and diversity in the workplace, which I feel is important. We need to get to a place where our staff members feel at home within the workplace. They can communicate with each other. We are a country of many, many diversities in one office. But sometimes we tend to forget that there's differences in the way people grew up, in the way they speak, in the way they want to be spoken to. And that's something you probably, the contact center world, that is a huge thing. Then we've gone on and we've even gone to the point of where we speak about things like the importance of customer service accountability and how it impacts the customer service delivery, which leads back to what happened at Land Rover and at Home Affairs. So what I've really done is I said, you know what, guys, it's fine and well to speak about journey mapping. It's fine and well to speak about analytics. It's fine and well to speak about metrics. It's fine and well to speak about what we should be doing. But let's go to an event where we hear what customer service executives, customer service managers are trying to put in place based on their knowledge of their understanding of what the company's journey mapping strategy is. Because sometimes I feel that there's a break in the chain. I feel that that's the problem.
So I get that. And I understand the logic around putting this symposium together. What would be the ultimate outcome for you? Because a lot of what you're saying seems quite personally driven. And I think that's always a good thing because it drives passion and it drives a need to want to see change. And I love that, right? So in your mind, what would the ultimate outcome be at the end of these, what, 2 days, I think it is, am I right?
Yeah, 2 days.
At the end of these 2 days that the symposium will be running, what do you hope to achieve, and what would be a win for you at the end of those 2 days?
The biggest win for me would be where a customer service executive can tell me, you know what, Aloysius, we went back the Monday, Tuesday, and we sat with our executives. We sat with the CX director who wasn't at the event, probably, and we're working together now. We actually just, don't you know, X, Y, and Z people that can assist us to look at the breaks that we might have in our journey mapping system.
Okay.
Because we've actually realized that, yes, we've been showcasing and saying X, Y, and Z, but we haven't fulfilled our own journey mapping strategy that we have in place now. We've been thinking that we have it in place. But by listening to the various different stories of the many different speakers you have there, we realize that we actually need to revolutionize our own journey mapping within our organization.
Yeah.
And we need to align our different departments, not to be silos and individualistic, but to be one. And where we don't understand what X and Y means, to go back and sit down and say, but hold up, but this is what the customer is expecting. Can this be changed a little bit?
Yeah.
So what I'm looking for is that it's like, you know, in a hospital, if you need to get a new something to heal you or something, like a healing tablet,
it's called medication.
Yeah. I would like to see this event to be the medication of the service world in a big way.
Okay.
And I'm actually adding experience into the service world, because everything we do is service. Yeah. And we all forget that. Everything is a service. Even our conversation right now, this is a service. You giving me a service, and I'm giving you a service on what Symposium is about. And you're giving me a service of giving me the opportunity and a platform to be heard. So everything is a service. And I'm just merely trying to create an antidote to ensure that everything is really fulfilled, and to ensure that we look at it from a continuous process perspective and not a band-aid perspective.